Testing. I think the audio is coming through good. Yeah, it's been a while, everyone. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, so I thought tonight, because I've been a little, I've got a bit of time. I actually brought up a bunch of photos just in my downloads folder that I wanted to paint, and so I've turned the camera on, and basically this is an area in the south of Sweden, and I've painted a bunch of these scenes before in the past that have these kind of yellow flower fields, and I think they're actually canola fields in the front. So yeah, basically I am going to paint these and see how we go. And because I'm a little bit rusty, I think the last time I painted something was about a week or so ago. I am gonna just do a little sketch to get started. So yeah, it's a very unplanned stream, so if you are watching along and you want to say hi, drop a comment in the chat, and also if you have questions as well, I'm very happy to answer. But yeah, basically this stream, I just want to I guess teach you my process in painting a scene like this, and yeah, I guess a bit of a warm-up technique as well. So anyway, let's get to it. I've got my reference photo. I've got my reference photo up, which is super important. And I'm going to start with like a really quick sketch. Now this isn't on the actual bit of paper that I'm going to be playing around with. This is just a little sketchbook I keep, and this is more kind of like a warm-up, I guess, because before I get into the actual painting, because it's been a little while, I find this helps because there's no pressure, and I'm going just drawing in these rooftops, and it gives me a bit of time to sort of try to figure out if I want to change things around in this scene or not. It's all these little houses, and actually if I get time today, I want to do 2 different versions of this particular scene. And so just get the side of that in. I'm gonna get in maybe a little bit of this house here, or I don't know what it is, like a shed or something down on the left side. Lots of trees and stuff here. Good. And firstly, I think what I'll do is just go in with a bit of the yellow first in the foreground, because that's all good. Something like that. A bunch of that yellow. This is 𝗪𝗔𝗟 yellow, by the way, which is like a really sort of vibrant yellow. And in the sky, I'm going to go grab myself a bit of cerulean, and actually, God, I'm running out of cerulean blue. Hopefully I have enough for the actual painting afterwards. Yeah, that's really not much at all, but doesn't matter. If I run out, I'll just use ultramarine. But just a bit of cerulean, I guess, up for the top. And yeah, this is more, like I said, just to get me back into things, because I haven't painted for about a week or so, and on and off, I guess, for the past few months. I've just been juggling too many things, and I really want to get back into streaming regularly again. So yeah, I know I've not been around actually for quite some time. So yeah, all this stuff in the background, I'm just going to put it in just one big stroke like that. And also you see, there's actually some other types of greens in here. You've got some like lighter bits. It's not a big deal for me, just something like that. Okay, and the houses, the rooftops of these houses are kind of like have a grayish sort of tinge. Got some, in fact, you don't even need to really, yeah, you don't even really need to color in those houses at all. I'll do that one, these two, like that. Okay. But I do want to drop in just to get myself back into things again, just to drop in some of that green here. Yeah, as you can see, these flowers have some stems and there's some bits of green. So I'm going to just drop in some darker bits here. And you know, they kind of get a bit larger or whatever down the base, and then in the background, kind of like this. And when you paint into already wet areas, you do get this kind of softer effect. Okay, I'm going to leave most of that yellow, and I'll go into the houses. Actually, I should probably get in maybe like this brown. Now this is basically burnt sienna, which is like a reddish brown. I think this will do well for these the bottoms of these houses. What's this one in the back? Yeah, there's the same sort of deal there. Okay. That one's more grayish, but no big deal. These small sketches are fantastic for, I guess, getting you back into things and planning your painting. Okay, so I'm going to get in the side of this house like that. Again, all of this, the paint here is all pretty much wet. So everything in here it's all just wet on wet work, and I'm not expecting any of this to really look like the actual proper painting once we're done. But this is just to get me used to and get me thinking about the composition a little bit. Yeah, so kind of there's a shadow on top of the roof. It's sharper, but look, again, I'm not too fussed about what's happening here. There's of course the rooftop, and I'm using like a purple color for this. Yep. All right, I'm kind of thinking whether I want to put in a shadow or something, make it look more three-dimensional later on. Not sure. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, at the moment, as you can tell, there's not really, it doesn't really look like much, but I want to play around with perhaps some of these trees in the background. I don't know, because the scene doesn't actually have much contrast out the back. I'm thinking if I add in some more darker trees behind, that might, I don't know, make it look more interesting. Okay. All right. So it's a little something to get me started. Now I've got my proper bit of paper here. I think I'm ready to attempt this. And here we go. It's really amazing how fast you can paint something in watercolors. You don't need to labor all day and think things through too much. So, okay, let's get on. Let's start. I'm gonna start with this one. Cool. Actually, get in a bit of this horizon line. So, kind of, if you look underneath the house, I'm just drawing a line where just underneath the house is where the flower fields start, and kind of in the center of the scene, this is where you have this like house. And again, I'm really just not trying to get it exact. Okay, just gonna give it a nice kind of character, a bit of character to it. Okay, that's the rooftop. That one coming down. I've actually made this one a little bit taller. That's all right. And then there's like one here behind there. There we go. That's another one. Okay, so as long as we have this sort of idea of a house there in the background, a couple of these houses there in the background, we should be good. Okay. Yep. I actually put in probably a bit too much pencil there, but put an eraser. It does go up a bit further like that, actually. Right. these man-made objects are the most important parts to get in because they're just quite sharp and detailed. So yeah, you need to pay a bit more attention to this, this sort of part. And I'd actually gone overshot the bottom part of the house a little bit. It's gone here and then maybe here. Okay. That's right. So we got the roof and we got the kind of bottom of the house here. Right. And then of course we have this house here, which is like the kind of one of the most important parts of the scene, I think. Here, this one to the right. Let me just get this more detailed in there. All right. Yeah, there's little bits of stray pencil and stuff here and there. I'm being a bit pedantic, but you don't need to actually rub that stuff out. You can just leave that, just like that. There's a tree here in the corner. There's all these trees here at the back, but actually you don't need to do any of that stuff. Don't need to draw any of those trees in. I'll probably get the tree line, and that's pretty much about it. There's a house here, and there's a shadow. It's like I don't know, an extension or the left side of the house. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's like an extension or something here. And imply it like that. And that the important thing is that there is some kind of shadow that's cast on the house as well. So I thought I'd indicate that, but I'm going to rub that out just in case. I don't want that line to remain afterwards. And to the left there are a couple of other structures, and it's kind of difficult to see what's in that far left. It looks like another, it's like another kind of smaller shed or something. But yeah, anyway, it comes up like this triangular kind of roof. I always just look at these things as shapes. Okay, I don't care what it is. I just know that it's a triangle, that kind of thing, and something here. Okay, whatever it is, it's no big deal. Okay, it's no big deal. We're going to just continue that field all the way to the back there. So just underneath where these buildings finish off, it should be kind of like a nice crisp line like that. So that's pretty much the hardest part of all this drawing and stuff. Now all these trees in the back, actually, I was tempted to start drawing in a tree line, but I think I'm just going to wing it and go straight into things. So I have myself a mop brush. Let me just drop the ISO a bit in my camera. Okay, I might have to change it as we go because it's just looking a bit too bright actually before. All right, some of this yellow. Okay, I'm going to drop that straight into the bottom of the scene, like that. Accidentally mixed in a little green in there, but it's no big deal. Let's just go straight in with that yellow, and it's about a combination of 5-10% paint, and the rest of it is water. Doesn't quite matter anyway with this. Yeah, with watercolors, when you paint with really light paints like this 𝗪𝗔𝗟 yellow, it doesn't even if you mix in a ton of paint, use it almost straight from the tube, you're not really going to get much difference in tonal variation. It's only when you're using really dark colors that the water concentration matters a lot more. This brush is shedding some bits and pieces. Don't worry. No big deal. Okay, so pretty simple. I've just kind of added in yellow down at the base, and I want to preserve that, keep that pretty light. Sometimes what I'll do as well is that I'll kind of like spray some water in there to keep it, to kind of keep it going. Now here in the background, I want to put in some sky wash. So yeah, I've got some cerulean blue left over for this. thankfully there's just enough left for me to get in this sky wash. It's really just a bit of water and a bit of that cerulean blue. I'm going to carry that all the way down, roughly to where those trees are around here. And because these trees are pretty sharp and in the sky, I think we don't need to... Yeah, that's why I didn't draw in that tree line, essentially. Okay, but I want to make sure this edge dries off mostly before I actually go in there and do some painting with those trees. So yeah, as you see, just a little bit of that blue there in the sky, and also be okay if you want to add in a bit of, I don't know, a bit of darker bits of cerulean here and there. All right, give it a, I don't know, give it some slight change of tone in some parts of the sky, you know, just imply maybe there's some clouds in front, some areas. And okay, so the next thing I want to do, is think of these houses now, because I want these to be kind of dry by the time I'm done with the sky and all that. So I'm going to go into this rooftop, and this is just a bit of grayish purple. I'm not even sure what color this is, but just something that I've picked up from the palette. Okay, and I'm just going to paint that top of the roof here in with that grayish color. Now these two rooftops, I actually don't need to touch those at all. I think we're good to just leave them as they are, because if you look at the reference photo, they kind of look pretty white anyway. So this, yeah, I don't want to touch that. Just leave it for the time being. And you know, while the paint is wet, I kind of like to just drop in some other paint, that same gray paint, and move it around a little bit. Okay, and another thing we need to do is get in this undertone of the building, which again I had practiced before using some of this color, a bit of what would you call it, burnt sienna, but I'm adding in a little red to it, a little bit of pyrrole red, to perhaps increase the vibrancy of this. I'm just using a round brush, a really large round brush for this, and cutting around the rooftops. Now I'm actually being a bit cheeky here. I'm taking a shortcut. Normally I'd want to leave the yellow to dry completely first, but I'm just being a bit cheeky and trying to get this done a bit faster. So as you can see, some of it's running into the yellow, some of the yellow is running up, that kind of thing. But I'm not fussed at this stage. I just kind of want to get this done. And this actually kind of goes into the left side here a little bit as well. It's the same as before, really, what we were painting before here. And yeah, just the kind of backing color, I guess, for this building. And underneath this one as well, you have got like a warmer tinge, what have you, underneath. Okay, and another thing to keep in mind is when we actually start going into the building lower down later on anyway, it's going to be actually quite darker. Yeah, but when you do this sort of thing, as you can see, bits and pieces will kind of blend, that kind of thing. It's not a huge deal, and I just mopped up a little bit. Okay, the base here, good. Here, a bit more brown here. And let's have a look. This house to the left, I'll probably just again add in a bit of that burnt sienna. And I'll leave that roof, I reckon. I think I'll just leave that roof white. Something like that. Good, Good, good. I don't know. That might just appear as a bit of a rusty roof or something. No big deal. No big deal. Okay, so coming around here to the front of the scene, we've got all the greens. So basically, we've got the greens from, yeah, basically the bits and pieces in the... I'm going to spray that down. But yeah, little bits of green. Got some darker green. I'm just going to try this out. Maybe flick that in there like this to get in some space and bits and pieces so that it's not all the same color. Drop that in like that. Okay, and this way it kind of just like blends nicely and spreads out without much, I guess, much disturbance of all the flowers and what have you in there. Okay, now it doesn't look like much at the moment, but you know, play along. We'll see what happens at the end of this. And yeah, this is kind of annoying that that it has kind of spread into the rooftop a little bit, but I will just use that as a kind of, yeah, maybe excuse to say, hey, it's maybe some rust on the roof or something. You can also just use a brush like this and lift off some paint, and that will also fix this up a touch. But I'm also not too fussed. Okay, now here in the background, I'm going to start getting in all these trees and stuff. Now, back here, you can see it's actually still wet up in the top, so I might leave that to dry a touch. And I've got some yellow, and I'm mixing it in with a darker green that I have. And I'm going to just put in some of these trees in here in the background. I might actually dry it quickly, this area first. Yeah, just a little bit of that because I don't want, yeah, I don't want all this to come out looking, well, mixing into the houses. So yeah, there's all different kinds of colors and trees and things, and I'm just going to simplify this all. Okay, like a lighter looking one there. Yeah, really just a mixture of greens and light greens, darker greens. Here in the background, you can see there's this kind of effect that I'm trying to get, this wet and wet effect with the trees in the background. Might switch to like a medium sized round brush to add more contrast. I'm mixing a bit of purple in with green here. Okay, let's just get this done. Okay, when you are painting onto dry paper, you get these sharper kind of effects like that. All right, but the goal of this whole thing anyway for me is to make sure I have a nice blend, so it doesn't just look too like sharp and sticking out and drawing too much attention. So that's why I've left the top of this paper still a little bit more wet, so I can take my time with this. But yeah, there are some sharper spots there as well. That's no big deal. I just don't want the whole thing to be completely sharp and all, you know. Here, let's bring this across there. This will kind of blend downwards. Okay. And all this kind of paint that I've been adding in here below as well. Now this is going to be interesting because I do want to, yeah, I really want to bring out the rooftops a bit more. So I might have to actually just darken around here a touch, okay? At least in some parts. This, around the white, it's not as big of a deal around the white. Cut around that. Bit more yellow here. Mixing all this wet and wet stuff around, it looks chaotic. I know it looks chaotic, but you kind of have to just try it and see what happens. That's really how you get some really amazing kind of blends and effects and bits and pieces without having to kind of painstakingly add them all in manually. So I'm adding some more yellow in here because I feel like I've missed out on some lighter portions. So some more yellow here. You know, let's move this down here, and I'm going to add some darker greens and parts, you know, and again, this is not, I'm trying to stop looking at the reference at this point. This house here does have some, oops, too dark, but yeah, we need to cut around that house here, or the side part of the house, and this left side of the rooftop. I actually would prefer if that's a touch, like a good touch darker than what I've put in just then, but something like this. There we go, just so that it comes out better. Yep. Great. Let's have a look at this house. It's still going okay. Cut around there. Right side there. I suppose this photo would have been taken sometime in the autumn. Okay. Again, more cutting around this house there as well. Making some of this stuff up, really. But as you can see, we've got a nice little blend of, you know, light and dark. And here, you know, I'm just going to fix this bit up a little bit. I've forgotten to paint some of that stuff in. I've gone down too far. Okay, here. Okay, so you've got some of the roofs of these buildings sticking out, which is what you want. You want them to remain light. Nice and light. And, you know, there's actually some of these white spots in here that I didn't anticipate. I'm just going to put some color in them. You have to do this for all of it, but yeah, I know some painters love to leave in these kind of white specks and things, but for this particular one, I think it might just distract too much. So those trees, how are those trees looking? I think the trees are looking pretty okay, but I could do with a bit more contrast out here. So I'm gonna just look, all I have to do is just bring the brush downwards like this, you know, from the top, kind of this triangular like shapes for these trees out in the back. And I'm using a bit of purple and a bit of green maybe mixed together for this. And putting in some of these like darker trees back there. Okay. This might stuff things up, and I know I tend to overdo this at times if I'm not careful, but yeah, I just really want to get in a few more, I don't know, some darker shapes out the back there. This one's too much, that tree there. Okay, I think I'm all right with those trees in the back. Like I could just continue on and, you know, alter and do this and that, but I don't want to spend all day on this. Alrighty, so now the thing that kind of has annoyed me a little bit is that this yellow here has dried funny. I'm just going to go over it like that, just to smooth it out. And I will spray down the paper a bit again. I'm going to pick up some paint and do this kind of thing to whack. But before I do, I'll just cover the top. Oops, should not use that spare bit of paper. Try to find something that I can cover it with. Oh God. Okay, you know, I might just wing it. Okay, and I'm doing this to create these kind of little tiny dots, these like little green dots or whatever you like running along, to maybe indicate some of the stems and greens and stuff like that. Because if I put them in with by hand, it's one, it's going to take too long, and two, it might look too overstated as well. Yeah, and some of these, you know, you'll find they actually look a bit too much as well. So it's actually some kind of line running through here. I don't know. It's like maybe from machinery or something like that. And quick little misting over the top to blend again. Okay, I don't want this to be too labored. Okay, so I think that's the front done. I could spend all day adding in more bits and pieces. I think right at the end I'll add in some more yellows. But the last step is, yeah, I'm gonna put in the buildings, the bottom part of the buildings. Yep, let's go ahead and do this. So mix some brown with some black or purple, brown with purple maybe, to get a dark value. I'll start here first, just having a look. Oh, it's, you know, it's something like this. Good. Just getting this shadow underneath the roof areas here. Okay. And then the left side of these houses. Light source coming from the right. So we want to preserve that light source. Yeah, that. Now, this stuff is still sort of wet, this paint here, but I actually don't mind that, because what's going to happen is hopefully if I'm, you know, this will kind of just blend into the flowers and make it look like it's yeah, I don't know, create more depth from that. What else do we have here underneath this house as well? There's like it's darker, so I have to get that in there like that. Same color, by the way, all the way through. That's it, just one go. That should do the trick. And this one to the left as well, I should get some darkness underneath that. Now you should be able to see that the light is popping out a little bit more. Okay, still looking at these rooftops and thinking, this is too friggin', yeah, it might be too light, but I'll leave it, just leave it for the time being. Same with these two kind of rooftops here. Yeah. Actually, these houses have still not dried properly here to the left. It hasn't turned out exactly the way I thought, but whatever. It is still looking okay. Right. Let's have a look. I mean, for the most part, I think we've got everything. I mean, everything that I need to get in. The main parts anyway. Really, it's just like these small little bits and pieces that are tricky, because if you want to, it's kind of what I was doing before, but I dissolved a lot of that in by spraying onto the paper too much. But these little bits and pieces here just help to give the scene some more depth. So if I can get this to dissolve, and actually I really don't like using this because it's so messy, but implies detail faster and a lot more efficiently than me dabbing the brush in there. Okay. And this is kind of cool. You can see it's like, it's almost looks like it's melting into the houses out the back. And there's a sense of continuity running through here. But I will, yeah, that part's probably maybe a bit too much here. Okay, we're not done yet. Let's give this a little dry off. Okay, little finishing touches. So I'm going to pick up a darker paint, but actually before I do, one thing I've forgotten to do was to get in the shadow cast on this building, the top of it anyway, underneath like that. Hopefully that does the trick. Something like this. Good. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up some purples and also a neutral tint, which is like a grayish value. And let's add in some little finishing touches to all this. So underneath the rooftops here, there's actually some extra darkness in bits and pieces, like here, here as well, you know, there, there, like that. Not only that, there are, if you look very closely, some small details on this barn, some kind of little windows there, and structures as well, like just really having to go a bit closer to see what is actually on this thing. I make some stuff up, that's all right. I'll make some of that up. And there, what else is there? There's maybe the door, but really, if I look at it, I can't really see all that much in there. But I will put in maybe some downward strokes like that, maybe to indicate some wood, like so wood, that sort of thing. I'm not really bothered with detailing this too much. Just having a look to see. There might be like a window here, like a couple of windows on this part or something here. Yeah, there's definitely a window here. Okay, something quick, and a bit of darkness also here, separating out that building. Yeah, a lot of this stuff at times is just implying what's going on. I don't want to get rid of this nice transition. I didn't actually anticipate on getting that in, but that actually looks quite nice. And these ones kind of need to be darker. So I'm going to just get in this left side and maybe here. You know, the roofs again, I could go in and make them a bit darker. But I probably will just leave it for now. Yeah, I mean, really, the roofs are maybe a little bit grayish, if you want, you can pick up. I'm just trying to find like a generic gray color on the palette. Let's have a look. Something like that, just to... There we go, add something in the rooftop, like that. No biggie. Now, another thing I've noticed is that there are like trees and, what you call it, these like smaller trees and stuff here that, like verticals. So I want to get in some verticals. I do have a smaller rigger brush somewhere. Here it is, like a little rigger brush. Yeah, so this is just a bit of darker paint, and let's see how this goes. This might be a mistake, but I want to try it anyway. I don't know, just to get something going on back there, some contrast. At the moment, it looks a bit too... Yeah, just a big clump of stuff, but there's not really much else. So yeah, look, I'm just putting in some indications of what I think look like trees with this small rigger brush. Okay, all you need is just a few like vertical strokes like this, maybe some bits that extend out. Okay. Yeah, there we go. You know, you can even see it, like some of them just connecting with the trees here in the back. Very, very light. I'm using just like very small brush strokes, and this is dry brushing as well. So there's not much paint. There's barely any paint on the brush when I do this, and that way it still looks kind of understated. I believe these should be some like birch trees or what have you, which actually get lighter, but yeah, maybe they're not birch trees then. Probably something else, I don't know. But yeah, you see what I mean? Just a little something like that. And yeah, I mean, looking at it at the moment, I think it looks okay. I think that kind of looks okay. The only thing that I maybe want to alter, and it could be a mistake, is to just like spray down here a little bit, like that, and then pick up some more paint, a little bit of greenish paint, because I don't know, it's just missing some textures out the back there. You know, let's just do something like this. Covering the houses so that it doesn't go all the way out the back there. Right. Spray, just mist it a little bit. Okay. Good. All right, I think I've messed around with this one for a bit too long. I think we'll leave this. We will leave this. I see there's a few of you watching. How are you guys all going? If you and how you finding the demonstration? This is a unplanned kind of demo. Drop a comment if you're watching, and yeah, because I think I'll do another one because I have a second. Yeah, I have a second photo reference. It's actually pretty similar to this one. It's just another view, but I really like this particular scene. So yeah, I wanted to paint it a couple of times at least. So let's go take off this paper and see how it looks. Let's see how it looks like. Go. Ooh, still wet. Yeah, not bad. How many minutes was that? How many minutes have I been streaming for? I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's been even an hour. Yeah, 52 minutes. Which is less painting time, actually. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I love these little landscape scenes. There's something beautiful and serene about them, and yeah, also helps me to relive some nice holiday memories from last year. So put this along to the side, and this is just show you my sketch. This was like the 1 to 2 minute sketch before, which doesn't really look like anything. Maybe from a distance it looks okay, but that really helped me to plan what I was going to do here. But that's quite like similar. And this is a great scene if you're a beginner as well, because there's really not a whole lot to paint in there. Okay, so I'm going to put that painting aside, and there's a second one that I want to do. And I'm thinking to myself whether I want to add in some people or something like that, just to make it more interesting. Because actually, yeah, because actually the scene does look a bit devoid of anything else, doesn't it? So, okay, let me just bring up the reference photo on the side of the screen so you can see what I am painting. So this is it. What's going on? Here we go. This is it. Okay, so I'll just enlarge it so you can see. It's the same scene, but just taken from a different angle. Nice little different angle like that. And I like that there are these kind of marks in the field. Looks like maybe a tractor or something has come across, like some kind of harvester. Yeah. Hey, Marion. How you doing? That's a That's a name I remember. Enjoyed watching you paint this and hope take away some more insight. Yeah, I'll do another one. I'm gonna do another one since I'm here. So yeah, it's been ages since I've done a stream, and I find like you know, especially without the momentum, like no one's really. I think Facebook isn't really sending out, or YouTube's not really sending out my streams to people. So, yeah, you kind of have to keep on doing them once every few days at least, at a minimum. There's just so much, yeah, there's just so many videos and stuff now on YouTube. So, and Facebook. But yeah, it's good that you got the notification and that you're watching, because yeah. Now I'm going to bring this reference photo up. And same sort of deal as before, okay? I don't know, I'm just going to do a little sketch because it helps to build confidence and I guess give you a bit of practice with the composition, how you're going to actually paint your proper scene. Sketchbooks are great. You don't have to, you don't have to think too much at all. You are just mucking around. Here is area down below, which is the, well, I guess all the flowers and stuff like that. And then you've got like these houses. Should I start kind of in the middle here? So you've got this side of the building like that. Triangle like that. Ooh, I've run out of room probably here. It doesn't matter. That. Okay. I guess that's if I want to cut off the rest of it. It actually comes out all the way to the left like this. There's a tree here. Oh, this is cool. I think I'll get, yeah, I'll make this a kind of nice feature of the scene, this tree. As I find that in these type of larger landscape scenes like this, it's from the foreground to the midground, there's almost nothing in there. But this one I found was good because you can see these these marks kind of in the field, and there's a path running to the right. So it creates a bit more of this three-dimensional feeling, and then you've also got like all these trees creating a huge amount of detail in the back. Yeah, yep. Good. I don't know why I actually drew this other one down below. I thought I was gonna add another one, another sketch in, but probably not. All right. Oh, yeah. So you've been away. You've been on holidays, Marion, or yeah. What have you been up to? It's been a long time. Okay. Let's start with the yellow here first. Mop brushes are great. You can get in just so much detail and not detail, but cover a huge area with a few brush strokes. Actually kind of more greener out the back there. Okay. Now the houses, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the rooftop, does rooftop look a little bit of kind of warm colored to you? It looks a bit, yeah. I'll get in some of that color, whatever it is. Light wash of like a warmer color. I don't know. Something like that. The sides of the buildings, I'll put in a bit of same burnt sienna. And down below here as well. Really the whole thing, you just go over the top like that. But the idea is to keep these roofs pretty light. You want to keep the roofs pretty light. Let's put in some of these trees here. Simplify this down, these trees like that. God, good thing about this paper is that it just dries so quickly. So cool bit of coolness up the top of the scene now. Okay, for the sky. All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same as before. We're going to need to get in these areas of the house, like here. That's all in darkness there. Underneath here, it's also in darkness. Not waiting for anything to dry, just looking at some tones, different tones. I do like that, again, there are these trees and darker areas at the back. This has done something interesting. There's a bit of sharpness here. That there is a road coming out to the front of the scene, but you do get these kind of like areas here, some sharper areas running through. I think I'll leave that like that. That sharpness actually looks okay. Helps to bring the eye, the viewer through the scene. And it's actually kind of dark in some spots, like darker than I'd think out here. Back. Okay. A quick little sketch before I start the actual thing. I went for 3 months up the center and then down the west coast of Perth. Wow. You must have taken some pretty cool photos, eh? Yeah, I'm from Perth. I think I probably told you that at one stage, Marion. But yeah, across the Nullarbor, did you take a couple of cars, or was it just a single car? People always get freaked out about driving alone across the Nullarbor. And Ludmila Popova says, I'm from Sweden, typical landscape. Wow. Whereabouts from Sweden are you from, Ludmila? And yeah, I was there last year for a bit of time actually, and it was mainly Stockholm, and also went to Gotland, a few other areas like Uppsala, and so beautiful. I mean, it's just amazing how the Swedes, they just look after their their nature and reserves so well, and people also don't litter. And I don't know, it's just part of their culture there. People are very, very aware of making sure that they're leaving things as they found them. You can go in to the reserves and you can go and pick berries and pick mushrooms, and I mean, it's just incredible. It's incredible. There's these outdoor gyms as well that you can work out in and kind of exercise while you go up into these tracks and forests. And yeah, so I guess I'm drawing from a bit of that inspiration, because I just had such an amazing time over there. And when I was there over there, I can't remember the last time I felt such kind of peace. And so anyhow, this doesn't really look like what we're painting, but it's more of like a mental exercise for me. So to get me ready mentally of what I'm going to do, it does help because again, I've not been painting so consistently for the past, I don't know, probably the past few months. So yeah, sometimes it's funny, you go through these periods where you're super inspired and you just painting and painting and painting. And for me, I think I've just been a bit overworked. I've been also working on a second YouTube channel, which has nothing to do with painting. People often get a bit confused when they see my other YouTube channel, because it's all about electronics, and which is one of my hobbies, and LEDs and stuff. But I've been working on that a lot and getting a bit obsessed with that. But I always come back to paint, even if I don't stream or if I don't post it. I'm always doing some kind of sketch every now and then on my own, because it helps to relieve some stress, takes my mind off things, and it's just enjoyable. And I was at a point where I was actually just, whenever I would paint, I would stream, and actually that got a bit stressful for me, because sometimes you just want to paint without anyone for, make some mistakes, because you want to make some mistakes and try something new. So yeah. And Marion lived in Perth for 17 years, lots of photos. Oops, what is going on? Something going on with the stream. I think it's back. I just lost connection for a second on the stream. Yeah, and you've lived 17 years. Yeah, I moved from Perth 10 years ago. I just found it a bit. I kind of done my thing over there. I was a bit bored. Sometimes you want a bit of a change and a bit of a challenge, and yeah, especially when you're too comfortable, it's good to mix things up a bit. So yeah, I hope the stream is still running okay. It's like seems to be, you know, kind of like dropping in and out. My internet connection at the moment is a bit dodgy, so yeah. All right, so I better get started with this painting anyhow. So I've got the reference here. Let's put in the front of this area here. Okay, so it's about, I mean, actually, it's actually less than that. It's probably more. Yeah, we can say maybe a third of the way running through the scene, but it's actually a bit less than a third. Okay. I want to try something a bit more bolder with this. Now, I went in like fairly light with all the yellows and stuff back there, which is good. But yeah, I'm thinking I'll keep the yellows, but I want to make those marks running through more, yeah, darker, maybe some darker trees out in the background. Yeah, just take a few more risks with this one at the, you know, and it might not look the way I want it, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Too busy now. Do you mean in Perth it's too busy? Good. Yeah, I've just not been back for a really long time. I think geez, I can't remember when the last time was. It would have been at least 5 or something years. Okay, so anyway, we've got this area there, and now I'll actually want to fit in these houses, like all of those houses, so I want to leave enough room, and we'll put in like this house here, this main one. I'm just gonna draw in some bits and pieces of it, but again, I'm going like fairly light here because I'm some more sort of placement to make sure I've got enough room back here. Yeah, there we go. There's that same house that we had from a separate angle, and then there's something else behind it. I thought it was like another, like maybe it was the same building, but it's not. It's actually another extension of the house or something like that. And you know what's crazy? I went looking when I was in Sweden. I went looking at some of the, I can't remember what it was called, but they're real estate websites over there in Sweden. And some of these houses, believe it or not, some of these houses are, you know, are about $60,000 Australian, and you know, compared to, and for that's a lot of money, of course, but compared to what we have here in Australia, you know, you're looking at anything out here. But I was looking, and some of them include like a lake, a well, all those kind of things. So it's really, really quite fascinating for me to witness that. So continuing on, and you know, just drawing mainly the shapes of these buildings are the most important thing I want to get in here. The rooftops. God, I might need to edit this photo a little bit to lighten those dark areas. I can't see what's in them. I really can't see what is in those dark areas. I'm going to increase the exposure of the photo, and yeah, I'm just doing a bit of fiddling around with the photo in the background, right? So I can, yeah, okay. Yeah, just try to see some of the details on the house. Really, there's not much details on them anyway, so yeah. And actually there's something back here. There's like another part of a house that's kind of obscured by this tree that runs in front. Now this one, again, I think I'm going to try to make this more, like, I'm going to make this bigger. Yeah, maybe it's grown larger since the person who took this photo posted it, right? Maybe it's grown bigger, like that. I don't know, that kind of looks a bit too, you know, when you draw trees, I always have to remind myself to not make them look too perfect, okay? Because sometimes the more perfect you make them look, the more kind of almost unnatural and stuck on it looks afterwards. So just got to be careful with that. Right, so we've got that tree there. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a feature tree. I don't know. So what else do I want to do? I think, do I want to like put some people in here or something? Maybe. I said I was going to just try and take some risks and do something a bit different. So why not? Let's just put in maybe a person here. They're walking in there. There should be another person. You know, maybe they're both walking together to visit a friend. Yeah, and they're walking across this field, right? Maybe walking across this field. Ah, there's the leg coming out the back like that. And this will give me opportunity to maybe get in a shadow running there as well. Yep. Okay, like that. The perspective isn't quite right here. These people should be maybe a bit smaller. I should move their heads. Yeah, move them down a bit. But it's okay. It's not perfect, but it's still okay. Two people. Do I want to put in another tree? I mean, I could do. I could do. Yeah, something is just telling me I should try, I don't know, put a tree or something like that here. I don't know. I'll just do it anyway. And normally there probably wouldn't be a tree here, but I don't know. I just want to do this near this pathway here anyway. Because, you know, there's just not much here in the foreground. Not much here in the foreground. Why not? Why not just go and Sharon from Let's Art Today says sounds and looks good. Okay, that's good, Sharon. Okay. So no, I think that's pretty much it for the drawing. Yeah, let's go in. Let's go in. And the first thing I want to do is I want to get in all this yellow again. So I've got some 𝗪𝗙𝗓𝗓 yellow. Let's drop that straight in here. Pretty thick as it goes on, and you know, straightforward. I mean, that's the thing with this scene. I mean, there's really just, you can't stuff it up. You just put in the yellow in there and then hope for the best. I mean, if we were painting in oils, this would be a different story. We'd be sitting here and this would probably be driving me insane. I think the great thing about watercolors is that you can cover a large area so quickly. All right. And yeah, I think that's pretty much okay. Do I need a bit more yellow? No. All right, so let's go into the sky with some ultramarine, not ultramarine blue, a bit of cerulean blue. It's so hard to, because I have some yellow on the brush. It's so hard to not get that mixed in, but unfortunately I have got some of the yellow mixed into that blue, so it will look a tiny bit greenish. Okay. I have this other color as well, which is called lavender. So I'm going to use that. It's not proper sky color, but it's cool. It does look a little purplish, I suppose. But I'm going to use it anyway. Okay. Because I've run out of cerulean. And hopefully you won't be able to really tell much difference. Yeah, the top of the scene, I'm just going to add in a bit of ultramarine, touch of ultramarine up there. Like that. I'm trying to go with some bolder brush strokes now. Okay. We got some purple. I think we got some purple here. Why not just put in a bit of that? Okay. All right, so that's looking fine, I think, anyway. Yeah, I reckon while this is drying and doing its thing, I'm going to just add in a bit of color for the rooftop. Warmer color. It's kind of that here. I'm trying to use like not too much water as well because I want this to dry fast. So I can continue on. That kind of approximates that color, doesn't it? I don't know, just something warm like that. Okay, not too warm and not too pinkish, but yeah, this one's a little, well, I wouldn't say little, but it's definitely darker than the one to the right. Yeah, this is just a mix of jeez, losing my words. Burnt sienna and pyrrole red. And there's no getting around that yellow. It's just so vibrant that yeah, it's just so vibrant. There's really no other way to do it. Actually drawn this house in a bit incorrectly. It's like this, and then there's like a back end there that's like also maybe in the sun slightly. Yeah, we'll get that in. Let's just do it. So it's actually darker, a little bit darker, but it doesn't matter. Something like that. Good. Now, I'm hoping all this stuff on the roof top just dries off soon, so I can kind of continue on with the rest of the scene. Now, this stuff is, as you can see, it's like maybe starting to dry, just the edges of this yellow. So I'm just putting in a bit of this spray, bit of that spray there. So yeah, re-wet that area a little. Yeah, got some people here. We've got a tree here. I also think I might put in another shadow across. Like, this is technically a road, but yeah, I wanna change this one up a little bit. Okay, so let's have a think. Go into the houses, bottom part of the houses. I've got some pyrrole red mixed with this burnt sienna. Now this is like a darker kind of mix, right? So I'm just hoping this stuff on the roof is mostly dried. It hasn't completely dried, but no worries. I can be so impatient sometimes waiting for things to dry. Okay, here, that part of the roof has at least dried, so I can continue. Good, good, good. Let's bring this down around roughly about there. Okay, here, and let's just get this done. Now, this is not the final kind of wash. I'm going to add in, yeah, it's going to be actually darker than this. It's kind of the backing color of all these houses and what have you. So, yep. I'm not really worried if it doesn't turn out right, but yeah, I also don't want this to kind of run too much into the rooftops. I think it is anyway, but yeah, look, what can you do? What can you do? I might even think of getting in like some sharper shadows on the rooftop afterwards. Yeah, let's just see. I'm going to put in some yellows here at the base because this is yeah, just these flowers and things, they will maybe come up a bit, and I'll show you a little trick later to get in some of those flowers right at the end on top of all the darkness. I forgot to do this in the last demonstration, but yeah, I'll do it here. Now there's greens and stuff. You can see just these, like, you can see these, what do you call them, these bits and pieces here where you've got like the machines and things, the harvesters, maybe gone across. Okay, trying to make these more detailed, right? And in the background here, you've also got some green areas like around the people. So, you know, look here, I'm just going to add some greens back here, right? Kind of like a lighter green. All right, just cut around these people. Turns out I'm going to have to probably enlarge that tree a bit more to kind of touch the house, because too much of this paint has kind of gone onto the roof, even on this one here to the left. But, you know, it's not the biggest problem. We are okay. As you can see, I can just kind of lift off a touch of that paint, and yeah, sometimes you just want to see what it does. Yeah, the tops of these roofs should be dried, so yeah, I always wait for that bit to dry, so then I get in the tree line out the back. It's kind of partially dry. Let's get in some green or something here in the foreground. Bit of green and maybe some purple mixed in here. Let's just do this. It could be like, I don't know, some kind of shape running through. When you put some darker colors around all these lighter colors, it actually makes the lighter colors stick out and appear more vibrant. So just trick is you don't want to overdo it. Now spray that a touch there, and I'm gonna go in again with some more greens, maybe just some darker greens, and tap some of that paint into this part of the scene. And this is just going to save me time. Okay. Maybe leave a bit too afterwards as well. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's work on these trees out the back. Got some green. Too dark, but that's okay. Bit of yellow added in there. That. Here. Maybe a bit of white gouache here for like some pastel-y looking green. All right. Because actually this area is pretty light, these trees out in the back, but the house is darker, so I have to anticipate that for later. Yeah. Great. Ooh. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of like a mixture of gouache that I've accidentally picked up, which is a kind of opaque watercolor, and the rest of it is just transparent watercolor, no big deal. And cutting around the rooftops here just to try and get that in. Now, no, this whole area is I've overdone it. I've overdone it. Just would be good to reintroduce some of that yellow back in there again. Yeah, just overdone it a little bit. trees out in the back. Yeah. Okay. Cutting around the rooftops. Trying to, yeah, get in this nice tree line and add in, you know, different kind of values as well. Okay, it's getting quite dark out the back actually down here. Yeah, you can see it gets really dark. I'll put in some of this purple mixed in with green to imply some of these distant darker trees. I don't know, some of them actually look not too, yeah, there we go. That hopefully just to bring out the houses a bit more. Okay, let's continue down. The right hand side, drop in some more color, some more green, and I'll probably just go lighter around this section as well. At some point, I'm probably going to have to dry off this page because it looks too... there's only so much details, is what I'm trying to say, that you can add in with each wash, at which point it's going to become overwhelming and everything's just going to mix together. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could actually look like a bit of a fall, autumn kind of scene. Yeah, kind of. This is looking a bit funny though here in the foreground. See if I can fix this up a bit. Spray some water through and hope for the best. Add some more yellow. Okay. Because that is, you know, it's a big theme of this scene, this yellow paint. So, really got to make sure that I'm staying true to that. Okay. Which means, of course, I'm going to need to add in all the details and stuff like that once everything has dried. But, yeah, I just want to bring back a bit more of that yellow. Cool. All right. Yeah, I might give this a little dry and come back to it. Okay, so That's the, I don't know if you could call it a first wash, but it's just definitely a kind of combination of a first and second wash, maybe. And I wanted everything to blend nicely like this. I really like, this is probably my favorite area, this area there. Uh, but yeah, we need to see what we're going to do with this tree and a few bits and pieces here and there. Plus this area down the front, that's kind of like annoying me a bit, but yeah, we will sort it out. So I think what I will do is, yeah, I want to start on this area in the front first. Spray it down a little like that. And I'm just going to pick up that same green value before, and I will go through and basically try to get in some of these like marks here. Okay, as before. Dry brush. See, bit of dry brush. And this area in the back actually is the path or what have you there as well. But these two people I'm putting kind of here, walking maybe through the center of the field. Yep. This is a little sharp to the left, but I don't, look, I think I'll just leave it. And just soften it a little bit like this. But for the most part, I think it's okay. Right. Here. Good. Yeah, let's get the details of some of this sort of tree. Now, I'm gonna have to change this up a little bit because this tree actually, well, I guess some of that red has migrated over to the left, so I'm having to improvise a little bit and kind of make the tree go over a bit more to the left there. Okay, just using a lighter mix of green here, which I'm going over the top of front there. In fact, it actually seems to run to the right on top of this house, which kind of in the back there, you can just see it. Okay. Make the left of it a little bit darker. Perhaps this. Good. And put some kind of dry brush strokes here in the background as well. And this area actually is a bit lighter, but I'm going to blend it with some dark spots as well. Here at the base, it's pretty dark. Yeah, you've got these like trees that just run up like this. This rigger brush is good for this sort of work too. I'm just picking up some brown here, just some brown paint like that, and we can get in some verticals, running through here. Okay, really dark verticals, but mostly dry brushed on. Okay, maybe some not like that one. Oh, jeez. Just kind of one. So here it is. This is the tree right here. We'll put it there, right? And it covers up almost this house a little bit, right? Maybe move it. I mean, why would you have a tree in the middle of this field? I have no idea, but maybe I'll shift it there so that it makes a bit more sense, kind of on the edge of the field. like that. Underneath that house, there's like some darkness there as well. And then you've got more of these verticals running along the back there. It's actually pretty dark along the base too here, so I'll just add in a bit of coolness and darkness in some parts like that. But it's not going to just suddenly like appear. We're going to have to blend this out a little bit, you know, either through just smudging or with the brush, kind of just blending it upwards kind of thing. Okay. You can see it's kind of like a pretty sharp edge. Yep, where the starts. Yeah. And that's kind of like the house in the background, the bottom of it anyway. A lot of this stuff here, it begins to kind of not really look like anything. I can even get rid of that house, to be honest with you. That's just, I feel like it's becoming an encumbrance now, just distracting from everything. Okay. Let's just mix some of this stuff in. Okay. Picking up water and just lifting off some of this paint so that we have some variation coming through. Yeah. Bit more darkness here on this tree. Maybe a bit more darkness again on these areas. Okay. Just continually just altering things. I did have, I think we decided to put a tree here, yeah? Like around here as well. So why not? Why not? This is another tree, and I don't know. I'll just leave it as that. That kind of almost looks like it is coming in front anyway. Bit of shadow. I'm going to use purple, maybe to, there we go, bit of shadow to the left. Maybe another shadow coming in from out to the right, from the right. Purple and yellow complementary colors. So this hopefully will work nicely. A little bit of that purple running through the yellow. They neutralize each other if you're not careful. Okay. All right, that kind of looks all right, but I wanna work on like these houses now. I've forgotten all about them. Yep, let's get some color in the houses. Increase the brightness a bit on my camera. Yeah, this stuff is all, this all needs to be like fairly dark. I'm going to use purple again for this. Okay, just for the roof here. And we'll come down. Where does it end? Like roughly here. And then it's downwards like this. And purple. Got a bit here. There we go, the front of the house. Barn. It's not a house. There. And we'll do the same here. Bit of shadow on the roof there, cast by that building, and then I'm going to come down. Here is the front of this building. I'm going to just get that in, exaggerate the shadow on that roof as well, and that sort of just comes down like this. Okay, that looks all right. That looks all right. Look. Kind of, this does not look as sharp as I would want it to, but yeah, it's okay. Something like this, maybe. There. Great, and the side of that building as well is probably like the wrong color. It should be this more of like a reddish and, you know, brownish reddish color. Let me just get that in quickly. Good. All right. Just thinking what to do now. What else is there that I can potentially add on? There are things like with the rooftops, you can put in like these like little. That's too much, by the way. Gone too dark with that one, but just like little indications of the you know, the roof like that. That one before was way too dark, but it doesn't matter, it's already done. And same thing for this one, you could just indicate some bits of details for the roofs that. And I'll tell you what, the less effort you put into this, the better. I don't know why this holds true, but the more you labor away at making these look like tiles or bits and pieces, it just messes it up. So yeah, just something like that. Really not necessary. In fact, it probably would have looked better if I'd left that one, but no problem. We'll accept it. It's around this sort of tone that you want to use, not too dark like that. Slightly too dark. Okay. So I did say I was going to show you some cool stuff that you can do with the gouache. But before we go in with the gouache, I want to maybe get in some more of this green stuff as well. So just spraying that down. Let's mix up a bit of green, and it's kind of like darker green, I guess. Oh, that's not dark enough. I'm running out of green. Okay. Jeez. Yeah, look, this is hopefully gonna make it look like there's some more details in here, like these bits of stems and stuff showing through. Good. Okay. Now, almost there. The last step is really, we're adding on darkness and the final kind of lighter bits and pieces. Oh, we've forgotten about these people. Jeez. I might just give it a quick dry off first. Yeah, some of the, I guess the wooden boards and stuff. I want to just imply some of that on the house, the barn. And again, there are like some windows or something up there. Like something here, here, and here. Roundabout anyway. There's some line there. There is something here. Apart from that, I can't really see much in there. I can just make some of this stuff up. And actually now the edges of this rooftop, you have extra darkness. Okay, like this, and it follows it around to the right there. Underneath here, I'm assuming there's a similar sort of pattern. Okay. And there are some windows here as well, which I will just drop in quickly, like that. Like little separations as well. Why not? Here. These small little details really that make it look more interesting. These people get their legs in. One leg in front. One leg in the back. That's maybe. God, I've forgotten how to draw figures. Paint figures. Okay, and some shadow running to the left. That'll do. That'll do. There we go. A bit of something for the clothes, like that maybe. A bit of blue. This person on the right. Some darker clothes, maybe. Could be wearing like a white shirt or something. Carrying a bag, I don't know. I'm going to make this the guy's pants a bit darker here. There we go. That's better. And here as well. There we go. So we've had some people on there. More dry brush. Just want to add some dry brush running through the back and maybe through here as well. Increase the. There we go. That looks a bit more like how I see it. There's actually, so you can just see the details in the houses. Here in the back, we have again maybe some extra little details, and plus this tree, I have to get in the, yeah, just the main part of the tree like that. Here maybe as well, this tree. Let's just, I don't know, make some of this up. Yeah, those ones in the background that's not a big deal. Just some verticals. There are some like trees here as well, kind of coming out the side of this buildings, just creeping around the edges, kind of thing. So just put in some little details. That's most of them just really go upwards. Uh, Okay, now a little thing I want to do with the yellow is just mix up a tiny bit more yellow, and I'm going to show you something pretty cool that I like to do at the end. So a bit of yellow and white gouache. Okay, and the point of this is to, I don't know, like get in some little indications of maybe these flowers going up into the buildings. Okay, now I'm being kind of more careful up here, but actually, oh, that's why. So I'm too in a hurry a lot of the times. So, but yeah, this is. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just adding in a little, like kind of these little dots that indicate maybe some of the flowers just coming up, and this creates a sense of continuity so that they don't just suddenly, start all of a sudden. Okay, and not only that, I kind of want to add some here as well, just like running around like near the figures. I want to space them a little bit as well. But just where you see some areas of darkness, you can add them in, and it helps to like break apart this darkness a little bit. Now, this is what I usually do. I just grab the thing and then tap onto something else, and you can do the same thing, but it's so messy and stresses me out. But I'm just gonna do it because it's quicker. So, oh no, see, I've gone too far up. We don't want it up there. So this is why you've got to be careful. I mean, I'm a bit haphazard sort of person, so do something and fix it up afterwards kind of person. So not what you really want to do is maybe cover up that top part and then do it. But I'm doing this because in this scene we have this huge amount of area in the foreground that's that is just devoid of details and that kind of thing. So this is a way to add in some details. And God, I need to wash my clothes after this. It's really frustrating me, but just do it anyway. some slightly bigger ones. Some areas that. A little bit of highlights for the figures on the head and the back. Right hand side of them anyway, like this. This tree maybe as well. Yep. Okay, I think that's done. I am finished with this one. Cool. Take that off. God, that was messy. Really messy. So, couple of paintings done tonight. So there's this one. How many hours? Probably 2 hours, less than 2 hours for both of them. Yeah, 1 hour 58 for the other one. And this one here, if I can like move the move things around somehow. This one. Yeah, it's just a bit messy. The one on the right's kind of overexposing. Yeah. That looks better. There we go. So, that pretty much concludes this stream. I think I like this one better. Yeah, it's just more detail and kind of what I did with putting the darker spots here. That one there, yeah, you know, a bit of the green at the front helps. But yeah, I always find these sort of scenes a little bit funny with these fields because it almost looks like there's nothing there to really join the foreground to the midground and the background, but it does help if you do it in wet and wet, as you can see here. It kind of, you get a bit of fuzziness and blending at the edges, which helps. This one here, because I did it pretty much while the paint was dried at the base, you get a sharper line, and I've added in a few little dots and bits and pieces here to kind of join it up and create that sense of continuity throughout the scene, so it doesn't just start all of a sudden. And you know, if you look at the reference photos, there's quite a few different changes that I've made in the painting compared to the reference, and you need to do that. I think anyway, it makes it fun, and like there's a sense of exaggeration with the flowers and everything like that as well. You know, that's not in the reference, but I don't know, I think it adds a kind of whimsical quality to it. Anyway, let me know what you think, and thank you all. Thank you for watching. Again, I've not been streaming for quite some time, so yeah, I hope this eventually goes out to some of you. I need to do this more often and actually organize events and times so you guys know actually what time to rock up. Yep, and thanks Marion, and I'll see you all next time. But yeah, if you're watching long after, feel free to ask questions and stuff in the comments, and check the links in the description as well if you want to see some of my courses and my Patreon. That kind of thing does help out a lot.